It is exactly 10 p.m. Thank you so much for tuning in to UBC TV. You're watching UBC News Tonight with me, Sharon, Kyomugisha, and Mugalu, Mohammed on sign language. Quite rainy outside. I hope you're having a good evening. I will take a look at our top stories of the day. In UBC News Tonight, SAMIA SULUHU succeeds Magufuli as Tanzania president. In more stories to come, MBARARA district presents a 30 billion Ugandan shillings budget for 2020-2021. Our city gets an ultra-modern central market. In more news, boxer Nanziri Kavuma for 2022 Olympics. In our top stories of the day, SAMIA SULUHU has sworn in as 6th President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Following the demise of President John Pombe Magufuli, she becomes the first woman president in East Africa. Ms. SAMIA used her inaugural speech to urge for barring of differences and repeatedly gave assurance of stability.
Katika kutekeleza madaraka niliyopewa kwa mujibu wa Katiba ya Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, nitatetea na kudumisha umoja wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania kwa mujibu wa Katiba.
President MUSEVENI has said Uganda succeeded in managing the spread of COVID-19 pandemic by taking tough preventive measures after listening to science and knowing the mode of its transmission. President MUSEVENI was this afternoon at delegation with a delegation of officers, men and students of Kenya State Defence College, Karen, who paid a courtesy call on him at State House Entebbe. The 30 officers, led by the representative of the commandant of the Kenya Defence College, Colonel John Kiswa Sankalia, from the countries of Kenya, Burundi, Egypt, Rwanda and Uganda. The delegation, that was accompanied by the Chief Political Commissar, UPDF Major General Henry Matiko, has been on a one-week regional study tour to Uganda and have visited various locations in the country that included, among others, industrial parks in Kapeka. President MUSEVENI was responding to an observation made by a major wary of the Kenyan army on how Uganda managed to contain the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. President MUSEVENI told his guests that the stance the government took was to close all schools, where over 15 million pupils were sent home, transport was closed, and other tough measures taken that reduced the number of those who succumbed to the disease, including prominent Ugandans, to only 330 in 1 year.
Us in the State House of Hande, it's a very rare opportunity, and we really appreciate.
The biggest, what I would like to mention to you is to build a new society, a modern society of Africa based on prosperity. But you cannot do it unless you consolidate Uzalendo, then you consolidate Pan-Africanism, and then you ensure socio-economic transformation so that you have a modern society.
Recently, the Commonwealth Secretary General, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, lauded you for the proper response to COVID-19 pandemic in Uganda. And she even cited that Uganda is one of the Commonwealth model countries among others like Bangladesh, New Zealand and Barbados that have gone further to develop on local vaccine. What is your opinion on a common approach to COVID-19 challenges within the region? Thank you, sir.
The way we managed Corona, that was the first question. We could see it was very dangerous. It was very dangerous because we never play with such things. That's how we had also managed AIDS, because AIDS, when it came, we had to tell our people frankly that this was very dangerous. So even when this Corona came, when I listened to what the scientists were saying, you could see that on the one hand, it was easy to stop because it was through breathing, and breathing, it wouldn't go through the arm or through the leg. It would go through the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. 3 points. So then we said, but yes, if this is the case, on the one, and once it attacks you, it was quite dangerous. It would either kill or maim in some cases. So the question was, why do we take this risk? That's why we had to immediately close the schools.
In more news, Cabinet has approved financial bailouts for different sectors of the economy in the bid to help the country recover from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Key among the earmarked sectors to benefit from this development include the agricultural sector, tourism sector, and the mineral development. Support to private schools is also under discussion. Watch.
For the last 1 year, Uganda, like other economies across the world, has been grappling and struggling to survive the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is indisputable that Uganda's COVID-19 curve is nearly flattening, with only a handful of cases in stock. With this, different pockets of the economy are reportedly recovering, though not yet completely stable. The government spokesperson and director of Uganda Media Center, Ofono Pondo, says plans are underway to bail out selected sectors.
First and foremost, the agriculture sector, particularly under the Operation Wealth Creation, so that those vulnerable groups that are being attended to by Operation Wealth Creation in inputs, in livestock, in advisory services, those continue to be supported so that the small economy, the small informal economy, fully recovers. So the support, the bailout is going to sectors. Those sectors know themselves, and the companies, the individual businesses they are in should therefore put their books of accounts in order, because government bailout will go to the most organized. Companies that had shortlisted workers.
Opondo, however, advises other sectors like the education sector that was equally affected by the COVID-19 to wait as government and other stakeholders continue dialoguing on the best recovery package.
Of course, there are discussions between the government and the sectors that were not mentioned. For example, there's ongoing consultation between the government and private schools, proprietors of private schools. Should the government of Uganda pay tuition, for example? Should the government of Uganda forgive, for lack of a better word, the tax due? Should the government of Uganda accept to receive tax due in installments?
Recently, government embarked on the easing process for the education sector, starting with the candidates and finalists, and soon the lower classes are hoped to open late May. Meanwhile, government has called on the public to report cases of brutality to police for possible compensation.
Now, there are injured people. Injured people, most likely, we expect that majority of them are already or have already gone through hospitals. We want to appeal to them to keep their medical records meticulously, so that when this comes and they approach you, then you're able to show the expenses you incurred on the treatment and other inconveniences.
Ugandans have also been asked not to lower the guard against COVID-19 pandemic and also continue observing all the set standard operating procedures. Early this month, Uganda received 964,000 doses of AstraZeneca vaccine, and it is hoped that very soon another 17 million doses will be secured. Dokas Kimono, UBC News.
The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, has urged leaders at different levels to carry out their work efficiently for effective service delivery. Mayiga was officiating a 2-day retreat for Buganda leaders at Butikiro House, Mengo.
Buganda leaders are holding a 2-day retreat for year 2021 at Butikiro House, Mengo in Kampala. The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, officiated the retreat. Katikkiro Peter Mayiga emphasizes the use of perfection and transparency during service delivery.
You must have passion for your work. Otherwise, you'll get broken into pieces. Ekintu kyonna bw'otakiteeka mu kwagala kikukooya nnyo n'okusinga bwe kyandikukoyezza. You must innovate. You must have initiative. You must have, new ideas. Buli lw'otayiiya osigala mu kifo kimu. Kubanga olwo ojulidde kujuliza bizibu buli lukedde.
The Katikkiro urged the leaders to embrace the digital technology for ease of their daily duties.
If you don't embrace communications, you are doomed. Owedde mweyambe ebyempuliziganya emitimbagano weegiri kwamba buulire abantu bagenda na bintu bigenda. Teri muntu ayagala kutambula na kintu ekiwenyera. Mujje mukigendere. Ne bwe biba bintu bitono nnyo. Ekintu abantu bakirabanga kitambula kigenda mu maaso nabakyeyunira tunaagenda tutya ku ntikko nga abantu bitukola tebabimanyi.
They advised the Inspectorate of Government to always cross-check with government organs in order to address their accountability issues.
Tetwagala muntu yenna akolera bintu wansi wa mmeeza okukuta. Era ofisi y'akalondozi weeri si kukwata babbi. Naye okulaba nti ebintu bitambula mu bulambulukufu. Era bwo tobikoze mu bulambulukufu bayinza okuyita omubbi. Naye ng'ekiruubirwa kulaba nti ebintu bikola mu bulambulukufu. Tosobola kutwala Buganda ku ntiko nga toli mulambulukufu.
The first Deputy Katikkiro of Buganda, Professor Twaha Kawase Chigongo, highlighted the importance of a retreat to Buganda Kingdom's leaders in improved service delivery.
Omulamwa gw'olusirika olwaleero kutunuulira emyaka 2 n'ekitundu ekisooka bye twateekateeka okukola mu myaka 2 n'ekitundu tubikoze.
Leaders from all counties that make up Buganda and others are representing different kingdom organs attended Buganda Retreat 2021.
David.
Andrew Sebira, Helen Barbara for UBC News.
Parliament has been blamed for the gross human rights violation in the country. This emerged during a sub-regional meeting organized by the Parliamentary Committee on Human Rights that is currently traversing the country to take stock of the human rights violation that happened during the recently concluded election. Now, police and other security agencies were also put on spot for detaining and assaulting opposition supporters as well.
Parliamentary Committee on Human Rights is currently traversing the country to take stock of the human rights violation from the recently concluded election. For Lamu Sub-Region, the meeting took place at LIRA District Council Hall, where several cases of violation of human rights emerged and got confrontational between politicians and security agencies who alleged that most of the issues did not have evidence for the committee to report.
Sometimes the rest, which I feel like, sometimes it's not very, As a leader, I know the RDC look at me, I should mention this.
No, make it here. It has gone on record. When you are already prepared.
We are not here for God. And at the time, I'm going to give you the names.
RDC is actually creating an intimidating environment.
Let us speak the truth to help the committee generate a report that will help this nation if we must find a solution to our security problem.
However, calm was restored by Agnes Kaka, who was chairing the session.
On the directive of the Speaker to do an inquiry into the violations that marred the 2020-2021 general elections.
We will make the Constitution of Uganda ensure that the chapter on Parliament precedes that the President, the Executive, and the Judiciary. Because when Parliament is strong and independent, things go well in the country.
In his submission, Daniel Lomaratu, who lost in the recent election in Otuhe County East, noted that during the election, security agencies took sides. Atubo suggested the security personnel removal from active politics.
I was acting on orders from above, and I'm very happy that Atubo and Sylvia failed. Now I'm going to get my promotion. When you mobilize the state structure and the police for a particular candidate, you have totally undermined that important concept which is here in our Constitution, Article 60, 61, and 62. Finished.
Meanwhile, the chairperson FDC for LIRA district, Bonnie Otiamagongson, says the committee's recommendation should be implemented.
I'm really up that the movement people are now buying more. So it's not about leadership and the man in the leadership. It's about the right person, a human being.
However, Angelina Osege, a committee member, said the committee should take interest in the issues raised because the narrative is the same everywhere the committee has been. Ediolwa for UBC News in Lira City.
In more news, the Poverty Alleviation Program of State House in Gomba, Zimbabwe, is there to help residents use their land profitably with government, where the government provides them with training and inputs. In 2011, the president held sensitization meetings with the villages of Kirasi, Kajumiro, Kisozi A and B, Kikuma, Dungu, Butugu, Lutunku A and B as well, and Gomba in Zimbabwe, covering 1,700 homesteads. As a pioneering project for the communities in Gomba and Zimbabwe, the president provided the seed inputs, including beans, maize, groundnuts, vegetables, banana suckers, coffee, goats, heifers, pigs, and poultry. The project, which is gender inclusive, has helped women like Nuria Twaha, who has realized her dream.
Nuria Twaha is a resident of Lutunku B village in Zimbabwe district. She is a beneficiary of the Poverty Alleviation Project, PAD, of State House.
Nekituyigiriza okola nekyasoka kutuwa emwa kyasooka tuwa bijanjalo nekituwa kasooli nekituwa.
PAD trained Nuriat and others in modern agriculture and equipped them with pangas, hoes and slashers. Then PAD provided them with cassava stems, maize, beans, coffee seedlings and matoke suckers. Later they also got animals.
PAD batuwente ente batuwente ente batuwanga tulina okuddiza omulala ente bwe yazaala ne tuddiza omulala kakati essaawa eno tulina ente tuzijjamu lita z'amata 40. Buli lunaku tusobola okufuna emitwalo 28 omwezi gye mitwalo 8 nga mwena.
From the cow project, also given by PAD, she's able to get 40 liters of milk per day, earning her a daily income of 28,000 shillings. PAD also assisted the farmers to get piped water, which they use for watering their animals.
Batuwa embuzi 5. Ku mbuzi 5 tusobodde okulunda kati tuli mu mbuzi 8.
PAD gave her 5 goats, but after some years, she has now a herd of 80 goats. This project helps her pay school fees for her children and cater for household needs. She has also been able to renovate her old house using money from the goat project.
Tuwerera abaana ze sente zituyamba okuwerera abaana ze zituyamba okubeerawo okutubeezaawo nga wano ewaka basic needs ze zaatuyambako n'okurinovating ennyumba yaffe eyo nga bwe mugira bakati essaawa eno weetunula era ezo zonna sente za paadi bye baatuwa bye tuzze tukola.
Nuriat established a coffee plantation on 5 acres of land. On maturity, she has been able to earn 24 million shillings annually from the project. She also has a matoke plantation established on 2 acres of land, from which she earns 4.8 million shillings. In summary, Nuriat is able to earn a gross annual income of 24 million shillings from 5 acres of coffee, 4.8 million shillings from 2 acres of matoke, and 10 million shillings from milk, totaling to 38.8 million shillings. This excludes the money she gets from goats.
Kubiriza abakyala bannange mwenna abali eyo nammwe bwe baba balese ebibiina bya paadi nammwe mweyungeko nammwe mujja kusobola okukola nammwe muve mu bwavu nammwe mutituke nga ffe naffe bwe tutuuse wano gonna amaanyi ga pulezidenti ge yasobola okututeekamu ne tusobola okukola naffe ne tujja mu bwavu.
Well, that was such a beautiful story for Nuriat, and we're glad that through the programs you've had a difference in your life. In more stories, Minister for Internal Affairs General Jeje Odong has asked the National Bureau of NGOs to produce periodic reports on the performance of all the district NGOs monitoring committees. Now, the minister was launching the official National Bureau for NGOs offices and their website.
The Executive Director, National Bureau for NGOs, Stephen Okello, asked government to support them for sustainable operations and recovery from the effects of COVID-19. This was echoed during the launch of the official National Bureau for NGOs offices and their website, a ceremony officiated by the Internal Affairs Minister, General Jeje Odong.
Duly support this office. At least let's first have the initial 21 billion. A number of them have also lost their jobs. That means there are so many Ugandans out there because their organizations can no longer pay them. Because of COVID, they've actually lost their employment. And worse still, others have had to close because they can no longer run. They are no longer priorities with whoever was funding them. And that is an emerging issue which I think as a country we need to pay attention to, of NGOs becoming partisan and engaging in politics, where they are not supposed to be seen supporting any political candidate or party. But the instances like that that have arisen, that are being handled too. There is a lot of either fraud issues and corruption in the NGO sector, where people are becoming more focused on wealth creation, which is overshadowing the original objective of serving in some of these NGOs and being volunteers. So,
Internal Affairs Minister General Jeje Odong said there is still a challenge of the district NGO monitoring committees and sub-county monitoring committees who have failed to comply with best procedures.
Request the NGO Bureau to prepare and submit to me periodic reports on the performance of all the district NGO monitoring committees with a particular focus on those that are, as I have been told, do frustrate the NGOs and the government efforts.
The Executive Director, National Bureau for NGOs, says in the next years, their focus shall be on scaling up the compliancy of the sector. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Shaidat Nasaku. Now, Makerere University College of Veterinary Medicine has signed a memorandum of understanding with Alphasan Uganda Limited aimed at commercializing the anti-tick vaccine. The Vice-Chancellor, Makerere University Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, thanked government for investing in research that is beneficial to Ugandans. Take a look.
Farmers are losing cattle and other livestock due to tick-borne disease, which has become a threat to the national herd, which currently stands at 15 million cattle. However, Makerere University College of Veterinary Medicine and Alpha Sun Uganda Limited, with funding from State House Innovation Fund, has invented the anti-tick vaccine that will solve the problem.
That are using chemical acaricides to control ticks and tick-borne diseases. All these solutions, they offer new opportunities, which can be, which when used in the integrated tick control strategy, they will be able to eliminate the growing concern of tick resistance. They will be able to reduce acaricide use, and they will be able to reduce the instance of these tick-borne diseases.
The mission of the anti-tick vaccine production initiative is to develop a recombinant vaccine using proteins identified from local ticks that would be used as part of the package in the control of ticks through vaccination.
In Uganda, if not managed well, we could face a situation where there is a reversal of economic gains, not just of this government, but of individual families, because research has been done to show that a family that does crop husbandry versus a family which does livestock rearing, or a combination, the one which has a component of livestock rearing is better. It is therefore important that if we are seeing signs of threat to the livestock industry, be it cattle, be it goats, pigs, we need to act. And it is therefore critical that as you know, the benefits that accrue from livestock, be it nutrition, you've heard of issues of children being malnourished because of milk not being enough.
The Vice Chancellor, Makerere University, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, says the innovation of the anti-tick vaccine has set a new door for Makerere University, which has become a truly international research university.
The vaccine is one of the most advanced scientific endeavors ever. And to see that we have built the capacity at Makerere now to produce a vaccine is testimony that the university has reached the highest levels of research capacity. Joining the league of those universities which do research for development.
The memorandum of understanding has been signed for a period of 10 years, and the product is going into the final process of clinical trials. Sudat Kai, Ivan Joko, UBC.
The Judicial Service Commission, a body mandated to recruit and regulate the judicature conduct, has condemned the Thursday's misconduct of the Supreme Court Judge Esther Tsache at Kololo Best Supreme Court. According to the Commission's Permanent Secretary Ronald Sekaja, investigations into the matter have commenced, and whoever will be implicated will face appropriate penalties.
The Chief Justice and the other members of the quorum have opted not to be part of this afternoon's proceedings.
There was drama at the Supreme Court as Justice Esther Tsache protested against what she termed as unfair treatment from her colleagues.
My file has apparently been confiscated on the orders of the Chief Justice.
It was expected that in that decision where there was a dissenting judgment, both judgments are supposed to be delivered. So one side delivered, that was in the morning, and then they adjourned for a break, which was supposed to enable them come back for the dissenting ruling to be delivered. Now that ruling, the statement we are going to give will be explaining what transpired between the time they adjourned for a health break and the time when one justice came to deliver her ruling and alone. Because in the normal circumstances, all the justices should have come back with her, and then the justice delivers her ruling.
A former legislator and senior counsel, Dan Wandirogalo, says this action undermines the tempo of justice.
This was not called for. This could have been resolved without reaching where we reached. If after adjournment the justices went back and there was a disagreement. There was nothing wrong with sending the registrar to inform all the lawyers and the litigants that this matter, although it had been scheduled for such and such a time, it will not be able to, will have a further adjournment even to tomorrow or even the other day, and then you sort out those internal issues.
The public expects action from Judicial Service Commission, and we are taking the action. And it is within their right to know how far the matter has gone, because it affects justice being seen to be done.
The Judicial Service Commission has reportedly initiated investigations into the melodrama.
We have a directorate that is in charge of investigations, and we have a team of investigators. We have a team of prosecutors. So our teams are on the ground. We have feedback, but we want to concretize the position of what happens after what we have got. A decision has to be taken.
Mugalu, however, concurs with the Supreme Court decision of not awarding costs to the respondents.
And why I think in the past the court has been reluctant to award costs in presidential petitions is that this is a matter of public interest. It is a matter touching on governance for the whole country. And therefore the matters which are being argued in the courts are their matters. They are not Kyagulanyi's matters. They are not President Museveni's matters. They are matters for you, a voter.
The government of Uganda now wants to make it abundantly clear that on 12th of May we shall be conducting inauguration of the president-elect, and subsequent to that we shall inaugurate the 11th Parliament.
Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
Senior citizens and elders of Benet's indigenous community in Sabesa region have appealed to government to implement the 2005 consent judgment in defamation action. This was during consultations held in Sabesa region by Benet Lobby Group and Ujama community aimed at mitigating land rights problems associated with indigenous Benet of Mount Elgon forest.
That forest you are seeing, it was our ancestral land, but now there is no going.
Senior elders of the Benet community in the district of Kapchora and Kwen in Sabesa region have expressed concern over the problems related to limited access to their ancestral land. Mount Elgon Forest was the ancestral homes and valuable resource for the livelihood of the population, estimated at over 9,000 and currently living in Kapchora, Kwen and Bukwo districts. Elders of Benet, indigenous founder of Benet Lobby Group Moses Mwanga says in 1940 they lost their rights to the ancestral land after government gazetted Mount Elgon Forest a national park. The Benet were evicted and now they are homeless.
So actually people were evicted. Some people did, some people resisted naturally, to leave your home. The people resisted. People of your two didn't come. They resisted. Where are we going? Where are you taking us? That we are going to take you to the settlement area this way. People of you, a place called Kwoti, all those people resisted somehow, but then they were evicted.
Mwanga says the Benet and the Yatu people are still living in temporary settlement in Kwen district ever since they were evicted from the forest they called home.
Having evicted the rest from elsewhere, the mountain, but then without people of your two and other areas, small areas, who had resisted. The rest had come down here to squeeze themselves here. But they could not, they didn't tell us how many acreages they were going to give us. They didn't tell us so many other things.
You see that forest we used to be our survival. During that time, we get food from there freely. We graze animals freely. these medical herbs from there freely, go for honey freely. No one disturb us.
The acting chairperson of Kwoti Sub-County in Kapchora District, Henry Akunson, says the BENET are unable to freely access the forest for whatsoever economic, spiritual and social activities for fear of being arrested.
Being landless, it affects us very badly because, one, there is nowhere where we can cultivate crops. Two, there is nowhere where we graze animals. Three, our children will not go to school because we don't have land. So we need the government to resettle our people and give them right of the land so that we develop like other places.
He says that limited access to land is causing rampant domestic violence, family separation and affecting culture.
Have land. The problem of domestic violence came in because when someone does not have money, like me, the father, I don't have money. Now, my lady can tell me where is the money. For me, I don't have money. That is where the violence can start from. That is how we request the government to give us our rights of the land.
With financial support from The Voice under the Project United for Land Rights in East Africa, BENET Lobby Group, in partnership with Ujamaa Community Resource Team, are providing advocacy and empowerment projects to the BENET in the districts of Kapchora, Bukwo and Queen.
As the BENET Lobby Group, we took efforts to engage government to ensure that our people between the 1993 line and the 1993 line were given an opportunity to live there. As BENET Lobby Group, we want to acknowledge the support of our partners who have supported us in our lobbying and advocacy initiatives.
The Voice, in partnership with BENET Lobby Group and Ujamaa Community Resource Team, are also ensuring that government collaborates with the indigenous BENET elders to resolve problems associated with land rights. Robert.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Hassan Kasinje, has tasked the police and other security agencies to collaborate in order to curb crime on the Northern Bypass while commissioning the new Luigi police post in Nasana Municipality. Kasinje cautioned the officers against sleeping on their job.
The residents of Nasana have decried the state of insecurity on the Northern Bypass. This follows rampant attacks on motorists, motorcyclists and pedestrians by unknown assailants.
Tubasaba okwongeramu amaanyi ku luguudo lwa Northern Bypass.
As local leaders, we are appealing to the DPC of Nasana to collaborate with the DPC of Old Kampala to curb the crime on the Northern Bypass.
Musobola tukolera obulungi Northern Bypass nga muli abantu ba mirundi ebiri.
Local leaders appeal for police to beef up security on the bypass and increase foot and motor vehicle patrols. They raised their concern to the Assistant Inspector General Police, Hassan Kasinje, at the unveiling of a new Luigi police post in Nasana West.
We have to protect lives and property here in your area of responsibility. Obulamu bw'abantu n'ebintu byabwe y'ennyingo enkulu gye mulina okukola wano. Obulamu bw'abantu n'ebintu.
Kasinje lauded the private sector's contribution to the well-being of the security agencies and directed the police officers to urgently deal with the matter, but emphasized on professionalism when executing their duty.
Naffe tuli bantu era kyakolebwa mu nsobi. Me, I don't want to go back to Mulago, but I'm going to see somebody shot by a policeman recklessly. That must stop. It must stop. And in this area, we don't want to see that. Yes.
The one-of-a-kind police station at Luigi was constructed by Starbucks International as a corporate social responsibility.
The facility is over 100 million shillings. because it's a state-of-the-art building with all the latest befitting services that any modern police station can. I don't think there's a police station in the entire country that is well furnished like this one inside here.
The facility will accommodate several police departments, among them the Child Protection Unit and Criminal Investigations.
So this facility has also the CD department. They will also be sitting here. They also have the traffic department also will be sitting here. They also have fire department also will be sitting here. So we're having a one-stop center for the police here at our place right now.
Charlotte Amuge for UBC News.
Thank you so much, Charlotte Amuge. As Project Education Restart continues to gather pace, State Minister for Education Rosemary Seninde has visited Ramanja refugee settlement in Kamwenge district. This program sits within the Refugee Response Program which government of Uganda undertook to benefit both the host community and refugees. Her main stop was at Ramanja Primary School where, despite all odds, has managed to return 100% of its pupils. Watch.
1 year ago, President Museveni addressed the nation and, due to the rampant COVID-19 pandemic, advised education institutions to close. All took heed until recently when the Education Restart project was devised by government to accommodate candidate classes at primary and secondary school level.
And also encourage you to...
Semi-candidates have since followed suit, with others expected to return as prioritized. To ensure that this is the pattern throughout the country, State Minister for Primary Education Rosemary Seninde is on a nationwide tour.
Okay? I know some of you want to become doctors, some of you want to become teachers. Please work hard towards that dream.
She has started with a visit to Rwamanja Primary School that is housed in the Rwamanja refugee settlement in Kamwenge district.
Through our refugee response plan, we have been able to mobilize partners to contribute to the education of our children in these communities. I know it is not only through education, but all in the provision of other social services. But I would like to add that we are going to continue this effort through the Office of the Prime Minister to make sure that our children get quality education and also their rights are met.
The school head teacher Lawrence Twamaki highlighted the challenges faced by the school in its pursuit to educate the nation amidst a pandemic.
Our learners have no access to computer knowledge just because the school lacks electricity. It has no any computer lab at school. So we expect that when the minister reads our report, when she goes back to Kampala and internalises it, things like inadequate staffing, which is a big challenge, 7 teachers on government, inadequate classrooms, 13 classrooms to accommodate 3,000 learners, inadequate furniture, we only have 375.
Seninde revealed a deliberate government plan to address these issues, starting with provision of study materials to be increased in the interim.
It is clear, it gives us confidence that even the other classes will come back. Of course, I know we have staggered the reopening. Children are going to come back in a staggered manner, but we hope and pray that all of them will be able to come back to school. We are going to continue to implement the lower secondary curriculum. Even in these communities, I believe our children will definitely benefit because that is their right.
This tour of Rwamanja settlement was a joint operation between government and development partners like Fin Church Aid Uganda, Feed the Hungry East Africa, and UNHCR.
For UNHCR is a protection agency. We have a mandate to protect refugees and find durable solutions for them, for their situation. And in Uganda, we have 1.4 million refugees, of which 59% are children. And these children need protection. These children need the basic education. So the reason for us to be together today is to come and see how the reopening of the schools is being implemented.
Before COVID-19 struck, Rwamanja settlement had 17,179 primary school pupils, 15,600 of whom are refugees that faced an awkward teacher-to-student ratio of 1 to 114.
Thank you. Thank you.
Women leaders have called for more skills development projects for women living in refugee camps in Uganda to promote self-reliance and improve livelihood. Now, the woman member of parliament for Amuru district, Lucy Ekelo, underscores to introduce more practical skills other than tailoring and hairdressing. Her argument is in this line with what is being promoted by Bidibidi refugee settlement in the Yumbe district of West Nile sub-region in northern Uganda.
Bidibidi refugee settlement in northern Uganda is one of the newfound homes whose environs they have had to adapt to, not by choice. As they sing and dance, one fact remains clear in their memory: that it is not their fault that they are here. So, as they fend for their families, whether collecting firewood, fetching water, or looking for food, it is a memory that they have to keep. It may not be lost on them that Uganda is generous with its open-door policy for refugees. Despite this openness, it is not necessarily a bed of roses. Women suffer more, a reason why some of them have accepted life the way it is, opting to fend for their families. 32-year-old Agnes Batio is one of them. She is the overseer of fellow builders at this construction site.
At the site here, the team leader. Any problem which occurs here, I'm responsible for it.
Batio, a mother of two from South Sudan, has been in Uganda as a refugee since 2016. She is proud of the building and construction skills which she says she started practicing this year.
I see it important. It will help me in taking care of my family and also support my family. And also it is good that I may get a skill to continue and also to help my country.
Such survival skills are what authorities have been trying to promote over the years, as seen here at the Women's Center within the camp. Caroline Angolere is the recently appointed RDC for Yumbe district.
An empowered woman supports the entire family. That means the entire family is strengthened through the empowerment of these women.
It is a gesture welcomed by many women leaders, including woman member of parliament for Amuru district, Lucy Ekelo.
Because I know there are very many interventions by either UNHCR and other NGOs, international NGOs and also local NGOs to train. But I think the emphasis of the training should be more on skilling the women.
Much optimism is expressed in seeing an improved welfare of refugees as they look forward to one day returning to their countries of origin. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Thank you so much, Henry Okurut. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with business stories.
No one should stop you from finishing what's yours. That's why MTN gives you data bundles that don't expire. Load MTN Freedom Bundles using My MTN app and enjoy the freedom to finish your data bundles.
MTN.
Today tastes like a new tradition, like an old favorite. Tastes like all hands on deck and all eyes on the prize. Today tastes like a piece of the action. And it never tasted this good.
Water and environment means different things to different people. Did you know that water is the foundation of life, societies, and economies? Did you know that the environment plays an important role in healthy living and existence of the earth? What does water and environment mean to you? Be part of the Uganda Water and Environment Week 2021, themed Water and Environment Security for Social, Economic Transformation of Uganda. The Uganda Water and Environment Week, starting 21st to 26th March 2021. The guest of honor will be the Right Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda. Join us as we discuss the importance of optimal utilization and management of water and environment resources for sustainable socio-economic transformation for all.
Parliament of Uganda will mark 100 years of legislation on Tuesday, 23rd March 2021. On this day, Parliament shall debate a motion for a resolution of Parliament to recognize its achievements over the years. The precursor of the present-day Parliament of Uganda was the Legislative Council, LEGCO, established by the British Colonial Office. The LEGCO held its first meeting on Wednesday, 23rd March 1921 at the Government House in Entebbe and thereafter at the Town Hall, now KCCA headquarters, before moving to the current home at the Parliament Building in 1962 upon Uganda attaining independence. The public is invited to follow the day's proceedings that will be broadcast live. This message is brought to you by the Clerk to Parliament.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm gonna pay URA visit.
But you can access URA online. Why pay a visit?
To know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely Digital Tracking Solution, the Voluntary Disclosure Program and Electronic Fiscal Receipting, and Invoicing Solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
2020 was a year like no other. For some, it was really challenging. And to others, it brought the best memories of their lives so far. This year, it gets better. Bugema University invites you for the biggest virtual graduation ceremony of the year. Join us from the 19th to the 21st of March as we crown off the graduating class of 2019 to 2020 in a graduation ceremony like no other. So, get your devices, I mean phones, laptops, tablets, and follow this link. Bugema University, excellence in service.
Welcome back from that short break. Now, MBARARA District Local Government Council has laid its draft work plan and budget for the financial year 2021-2022 of 29.8 billion Ugandan shillings. The district chairman, Captain JB Tumsime witnessed the presentation of the budget. Estimates at Kyomugisha District Council were presented the budget.
MBARARA district budget estimates for 2021-2022, equivalent to 29.8 billion shillings, has been presented to the district council, chaired by the district chairperson, Captain JB Tumsime Bamturaki.
The budget is 29.5 billion, and this budget is going to be employed in very many areas.
The Secretary for Finance, Planning and Administration, Basil Batarigaya Rakwene, who is also the District Council representing Ruvindi Sub-County at Kyomugisha District Council Hall, presented the budget.
As a result, we have very many projects. Unfortunately, as a Member of Parliament elect, we have also identified unfunded priorities, which unfunded priorities I'm going to follow up at the level as a Member of Parliament.
Batarigaya says 1.2 billion shillings shall be from local revenue, 610 million shillings from donations, and the remaining 27.9 billion shillings will be raised by the central government.
The majority of the projects, development projects, have been given to us from central government, but also with the help of our chairman, LC5, he has lobbied for more projects.
He noted that much funding was allocated to education, amounting to 13 billion shillings, with the biggest percentage to be spent on construction, followed by health that will utilize 4.1 billion shillings, and production 901 million shillings, among others.
Health is on education and our roads, to make sure that we have a motorable road network, to make sure that we have improved on our school infrastructure and health of
it should be well utilized and monitored. The RDC's role is to monitor and ensure that there is security in the district, but he can't do it alone. I'm calling upon all the councillors, the elected ones and the old ones, and the synergies to make sure that service delivery is provided to our people, because that's why they have elected us.
The district chairperson, JB Tumsime Bamturaki, asked the local council leaders who were not voted again to keep working with their communities.
Arua Hill Stadium construction is due for completion. Now the stadium, expected with a capacity of 20,000 spectators, is expected to be 100% complete by December this year.
Arua Hill Stadium construction was launched in 2018 and completion is slated for December this year. Jawada Consult, a construction company based in Arua City, is handling the project. The director of Jawada Consults Limited and Development Infrastructure says the construction work is about 70% complete.
So by December, we will still be within, actually will be 6 months ahead of schedule. Yeah, so our biggest target here is to ensure this year ends when we have the stadium ready. We're now at 70%.
The stadium, among other things, has recreational centers, chilling lounge, and a hotel. According to Engineer Joel Aita, the business components in the stadium will help attract finances for sustainability and maintenance of the stadium in the long run.
Money which will be generated will be able to pay for the cost of construction, and then it will be able to pay for maintenance of this facility.
There were concerns on why timber is being used to roof this stadium. According to the agreement between Jowada Consults and Arua Municipal Council, Jowada Consults will hand over the stadium to Arua City in 49 years after recovery of the funds that were used for construction. The interim mayor of Arua City, Isakato, is optimistic that the stadium will boost the outlook of Arua City and also create employment opportunities, especially for the youth. Dama Joseph, Helen Barbara for UBC News.
Uganda Rollball Association has started a campaign. The target will respect them in society. Now, the association's name has over the years been tainted by members using skates and holding onto cars, with many cases of robbery reported.
Friday morning found members of Uganda Rollball Association at Wandegea Market. They first held drills for the public, which left many mesmerized. Later, they embarked on their mission of a corporate social responsibility initiative that involved cleaning of the market.
We began a campaign of revamping the name of the skaters in the country. We have over 1,000 skaters all over the country, but the challenge we've been having that having come out of the lockdown, many of them had gotten off, many of them had to move out of the country, many of them have lost hope, and the fact that the country has, the government has not been funding sports as is required in the country, and yet most of the youth we have in the country have that talent of sports. We are seeing through reaching out to people, to the communities, through such community works like cleaning in the markets, we're saying we can use that to get back our people, the attention of our people, those who supported us, those who used to fund us, to ensure that the name of skaters in the country is transformed.
This is aimed at improving the image before the public, which often blames the skaters on the roads for careless death and theft.
Well, many of them know us as thieves. Many people have come to know that our people are people who risk their lives and are doing sketching, that is holding on to cars. They do not care about their lives, but we are saying yes. Whatever has been said has been said. There is a new life that has begun amongst the skaters in the country. We are embracing everyone and we are saying please embrace our people. We are ready to lift this talent in the country. We have championships that we've gotten involved in that require your support. Wherever you are, if at all you have that heart of sportsmen in the country, these are athletes that are committed to see that the country's name is being lifted.
The cast of players representing Uganda Rollball Association included Andrew Ndaula, Kate Nakandi, Joseph Wagwat, and Regan Lumara.
So now we are doing community work. First of all is to educate our mothers, fathers, brothers in the markets, even other areas, that skating is a good sport. Skating it's like any other industry, that we have some people who got some bad elements, but we are working upon them.
For starters, rollball is basketball played on skates and is a relatively old sport in Uganda, with affiliation to National Council of Sports and an 8-team league, which resumes soon. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
That's all we had for you for now. Thank you so much for watching UBC News tonight. My name is Sharon. Kyomugisha with Mugalu, Mohammed. On sign language from the agenda. Have a lovely night and a great weekend.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Are 7 days in a week. But what is the it in this expression?
Jonathan, I've been working on this project for the past 15 hours. I am so tired.
15 hours? I think it's time to call it a day, Anna.
I can't stop now, Jonathan. I must get this done.
The other half of the project isn't due until next month.
For real?
Yeah. Call it, Anna.
To call it a day means to finish doing something for now. This expression is usually used when talking about a person's workday. From the looks of it, Anna probably should have called it a day a few hours earlier. And that's English in a minute.